Ang ating kwentuhan napapakinggan kahit saan. Samahan niyo ako sa bawat kwento na pwede natin pag-usapan. At sa bawat kwentuhan, lagi kang kasama. Ako si Gab Humilde Villegas at ito ang Kwentuhang Random, the podcast. Welcome to another episode of our Kwentuhan. My name is Gab Humilde Villegas and this is Kwentuhang Random, the podcast. And on this episode, pag-uusapan natin dahil malapit na ang Disyembre at in a few weeks now or days, magsisimbang gabi na. For sure, yung iba sa atin, nakahanda na yung mga 13th month pay kung saan nila gagastusin. And at the same time, may mga nakahanda na ring wishes yung iba sa atin para sa simbang gabi. And yun yung gusto nila matupad na wish for this year. So, this time, pag-uusapan natin ang Samahang Malalamig ang Pasko kung saan. Ako po ay kasama rin doon sa grupong iyon. So, yes. So, bago tayo mag-start, para to hit up the conversation, so, simulan muna natin. Sino ba nandito sa ating Facebook? Simulan muna natin kay Ann. Kung ano, ayan, sige, pakilala muna kay guys.
Hi, everyone. So, my name is Ann David. So, actually, hindi ko talaga yun real name.
That's perfect.
I'm 32 years old kasi hindi pa kasi ako out sa family ko and hindi pa ako handa. But anyway, so sabi ko nga kay Sir Gab, single ako for 32 out of 33 years. But I've been in relationships. It's just that, ewan ko, nung mga bandang November and December, bigla silang nag-break off. And ngayon, ito yung bali 32nd year ko na single. So, hi everyone.
Hi there, and it's nice to have you. And I think that's perfectly fine. Thank you for letting us know so that I'm just glad you're here.
Ayan, sunod naman natin ay si Ronica. Ayan. Hello, Ronica. Good evening.
Hello, hi, I'm Ronica. Ito na din talaga yung name ko.
Lovely.
Baka nga, if someone watches this, makita pa nila ako kasi 6 years na akong single and I've tried all the dating apps then and all. So, if you saw Ronica there, that's probably me. And ayun, been searching, then I'm actually 24 and focused sa career but still go out a lot and wala. The last relationship I had was 6 years ago and hindi pa nasundan. So, pang-anim na Pasko na walang jowa.
Okay. So, eto, sisimulan natin yung conversation. For sure, doon sa mga NBSB at NGSB katulad ko. So, para kay Ronica, since you've been in a relationship for ilang taon kayo nung naging ex mo?
The first one was around 2 years. Then yung sumunod, which is yung pinaka-recent, is 6 months lang.
So, ayun. How does it feel na parte ka ng grupong ito?
Actually, ang hirap. Ang hirap lumabas sa situation na parang feeling mo, ang tagal-tagal mo ng single. Kasi, when you're single, sanay kang mag-isa. You don't feel codependent with anyone. You do things on your own. And nung time kasi na nag-relationship ako, was college pa ako nun. So, medyo malayo na yung position ko in life ngayon, na I'm working, na I'm being independent. So, parang, siguro the main difference talaga, or the main thing na napapansin ko whenever naisip ko na parang gusto ko na magka-relationship, is that sometimes, we crave for someone na parang, sana may maaasahan tayo. Parang ganun. Sana may mapupuntahan tayo when we're happy. Sana may makakausap tayo when we're super sad. Or just someone na pwede mong maasahan when on the little things. Ganun. So, being single is not actually a bad thing. It teaches us to be independent talaga. Pero at the end of the day, kahit kaya mo, minsan mas masarap sana sa feeling kung may kasama ka.
So,
I hear you.
Kay Ann naman, how does it feel like that?
I've been in relationships, it's just that hindi talaga sila umaabot somehow ng Pasko. Like, nagbe-break kami bago mag-Christmas. So, lagi akong single around the holidays. Pero, actually, ang interesting lang kasi yung last relationship ko was a year ago, and then nag-make talaga ako ng deal with myself na I will not date for 1 year, and nag-survive ako, so nagawa ko siya. So 1 year and a few days na, so technically pwede na ulit ako mag-date. But anyway, I took that time off kasi parang napapansin ko na baka may pattern, kasi kung titingnan, ako yung common sa lahat ng relationships ko so hindi mo naman pwedeng i-blame lahat yan with timing and with partners, diba? Kailangan din maging self-aware, like, how am I contributing to my short relationships? Parang gano'n. And so, ayun, so, dito sa year na to, it's really, like, trying to, kasi na-realize ko na kaya ako palipat-lipat ng relationship, tapos kaya sila nagbe-break agad, is kasi takot akong maging malungkot. And ina-associate ko yung pagiging malungkot sa pagiging mag-isa when they are not synonymous, diba? Kasi pwede ka namang maging masaya kahit na pwede ka namang maging malungkot kahit maraming taong nakapaligid sa'yo. And then I really, so yun yung winwork ko ngayon is like how to be, not afraid of being alone, kasi yun, pwede namang maging masaya.
Ang akin naman, kwento na ako. Since ako naman ay NGS, so, nung bata ako, dahil may mga nagiging crushes din ako, elementary, high school, college. So, laging bilin sa akin ng grandparents ko, pati ng nanay ko, na mag-aral muna ako. So, sinunod ko yun. Katotoo nga lang sa pamilya namin, yung utol ko, tsaka yung mga pinsan ko, sila pa yung nauunang to be in a relationship kaysa sa akin. Since sa aming magpipinsan, ako yung pangalawa. And ako naman, since this time napaka-goal-oriented ko rin, focusing on my career as a journalist. Talagang kahit anong gusto mo, wala, di ka makahanap ng time to go out, to be with friends, to socialize. Sa totoo lang, yung pakikipag-socialize, nagagawa ko lang siya kapag may coverage. Since ayun din, nadadance, kwentuhan lahat. Pero may mga nagiging crushes din ako, pero parang pakiramdam ko, infatuation lang. Parang lilipas din. Kasi hindi ko ewan ko lang kung bakit. Pero parang nararamdaman ko na kaya ko rin naman siguro maging masaya because of my family. Especially nung buhay pa yung grandfather ko. Sila yung source of happiness ko. And ayun, since the time that who passed away last year. Yun, doon ako nag-start ng mag-dating apps. Pero one time ginastosan ko lahat ng dating apps that time last year, pero wala rin. Yung tipong nag-swipe right ka, nag-swipe right sa'yo, then nag-swipe right ka, then pabalik, pero walang nangyaring conversation. Yun yung madalas na nangyayari sa akin. So, parang pakiramdam ko minsan I'm just wasting my time on dealing with dating apps. Pati na rin yung Facebook dating, minsan pinapatulan ko na rin, pero wala rin naman ako mahal. So, ang ko rin, ayun yung kwento ko kung bakit ako single for the longest time since mga ako sa mundo. Ayun po, ma'am. Ma'am Jonette. Ano po sa tingin niyo yung kung bakit may mga tao na kapag ganitong holiday season, parang nakakaramdam sila na they are lonely. Parang naghahanap sila ng kayakap, lalo na tuwing Pasko.
That's actually a very good question, Gab. I think with this, it's very interesting you ask this question kasi hindi lang actually mga naghahanap ng partner ang mga tao tuwing Pasko. It's actually also very common na nagkaka-break up ang mga partner tuwing Pasko. Okay, let me answer your question first before I go on to the second question. So, syempre, usually, ang nangyayari kasi is may tendency tayo to compare ourselves with other people. It's part of human nature. And meron tayong idea na merong siyang boyfriend, merong siyang girlfriend, mas nakaka-progress siya sa buhay kaysa sa akin. or mas siguro mas maayos yung buhay niya kaysa sa akin. Kasi bakit ganun, parang malag nagkakagusto sa akin. Now, that's usually a pretty common thought. Pati na rin, sometimes, merong mga ilang tao na they feel na kung kailangan, meron akong partner kasi jahe kung pupunta ako sa family reunion na wala akong kasama. Kasi merong family/societal pressures tayo. 'Di ba? Pag aminin natin, pag pumupunta tayo ng reunion, usually, aside from the comment na, hoy, tumataba ka na, usually meron yan na, oh, may asawa ka na ba? May boyfriend ka na ba? Nasaan ba yung apo ko? Etc., etc., etc. And usually yan, syempre, mahirap humindi kasi mga nakakatanda natin yan. Okay? We actually also can set our boundaries with our relatives. They're well-meaning, pero syempre, medyo kailang yon nasagutin. That's something I can discuss later on. But for now, okay, usually, naghahanap tayo ng partner tuwing Pasko, or mas nangungulila tayo tuwing Pasko. Dahil number one, we end up comparing ourselves with other people. Number two, ang nangyayari is, sometimes, naghahanap tayo ng, kumbaga, quote-unquote, filler relationships. Na, pwede na to, basta may mairap lang ako kay mama at papa. You know? I'm pretty sure there are also a number of other reasons why. And, kumbaga, there's a very good reason bakit sa US ang tawag pag Pasko is cuffing season. So, pag cuffing season, parang pinoposasan ka na. And what do you call this? Of course, this is not an official season. Pero medyo I think nagigets natin kung bakit sinasabi nila yon. Okay? Pero at the same time, medyo pag-isipan din natin kung what do you call this? May I ask you, Gab, so far, does this answer your question, or meron pang ibang gusto mong kutkutin natin dito sa question mo?
So, yun naman, nasagot naman po. Pero yung akin, parang nakarelate ako doon sa pressure kasi, you know, yung utol ko, maghahanap. Kuya, nasaan na ba si ate? Ganyan. Naghahanap na siya ng ate. Tapos, then, kapag may mga family reunions, pag Pasko, bagong taon, or any occasion sa bahay namin sa probinsya, a lot of relatives are asking, nasaan na yung girlfriend ko? Mayroon ka na bang may papakilala? Ganyan. Especially yung mga relatives din namin sa North, ganyan din yung question sa akin. Nung last week na November, itong Sunday lang, last week talaga, umuwi ako sa amin para do sa for a family occasion. Then, pagdating ko do sa bahay namin, my mom was talking to my uncle who is in the United States. So, nagkamustahan kami ng uncle ko. Tapos sasabihin. Tapos yun yung tinanong niya sa akin. Balong, which yun yung nickname ko kasi. Meron ka na bang girlfriend? Ganyan. Sabi ko, uncle, wala po eh. Masyadong busy. Tsaka, most of my time nauubos lang sa commute at tsaka sa trabaho. Yun ang sabi ko. Tapos, natawa na lang ako sa nanay ko kasi sinabi niya sa uncle ko, baka naman, meron ka dyang mairereto sa anak ko, yung maputi na, kahit maputi na Amerikana, ganyan. Tapos ito pa, medyo relate din ako sa sinabi ng utol ko before, medyo bata-bata pa ako noon, siguro mga 12, 13 years old. Gusto niya daw ako makapangasawa ng Pranses. Bland ang buhok. Ako, hindi ko naman iniisip yung standards kung ano dapat yung pero minsan natatawa na lang din talaga ako na ganun din yung pressure sa akin ng family ko.
I hear Gab.
Yung mga kaibigan ko din, ayan din, nagtatanong din sa akin, Kuya Gab, meron ka na bang wala mo siyang mapapakilala sa amin, ganyan. Sabi ko, wala eh. So, yun laging wala yung sagot. So, parang iniisip ko, kailan kaya magkakaroon ng meron?
Okay. Actually, Gab, actually nagpipigil lang ako kasi marami tayong mauungkat doon sa mga kinukwento mo. And actually, maraming tayong mapapag-isipan sa sharing mo. Okay, so I just want to check in with you because is this something na gusto mong i-address natin isa-isa para matulungan kita? Or do you want to take this in another direction?
Ang akin lang naman, yan din. Sinare ko lang din because yun din, sinasabi din naman sa akin ng iba naming relatives so as a wider wisdom on marriage and relationship. Lagi nilang sinasabi sa akin na darating din yung taong para sa'yo. Hindi mo dapat siya minamadali.
Okay. Alright. Now, before you take my advice, okay, baka naman nagtataka yung audience natin kung sino ba itong matabang to na nag kung ano-anong sinasabi.
Hindi ba, pupunta na tayo dyan.
Okay.
Ma'am, di ba you are a relationship coach?
Yes.
May I ask, ano po pala yung tinapos niyo nung college? Bakit po kayo napunta dyan?
Okay. Just to give our wonderful audience a brief background on who I am. Hi, everyone. I am Jonette Valenciano. I am a relationship coach working under relationshiphero.com. And also, I am doing my own practice as Calidum Lumen coaching on Instagram and Facebook. Okay. Okay. Actually, Gab, magandang tanong yung tanong yan. Kasi hindi mo aakalain kung saan at ano ang tinapos ko. Okay. I essentially graduated from University of the Philippines, Diliman ng BA Theater Arts. So, bakit parang ang layo? Okay. Now, I will give a brief background. Okay. Yes, theater arts ako. Pero at the same time, ever since actually grade school, high school ako, nagtatrain na din ako para maging parang peer counselor ako. Okay. I was part of my high school club which was called Kasama sa St. Paul College Pasig. Essentially, we were a club na tinatrain kami to give gentle peer coaching, gentle peer counseling, to listen to people's concerns and to not necessarily give them advice. Pero primarily para matulungan namin sila na makahanap or makagawa ng sariling solusyon na babagay sa kanila, na tama sa kanila. Okay, so kumbaga hindi kami yung nagbibigay ng kasagutan sa mga tanong nila, pero tinutulungan namin sila para masagutan nila yung sarili nilang tanong. Okay? So actually, it's interesting na you asked that question kasi in a way, nagamit ko rin yung skills na yon sa college all the way through my initial working years. I am also a trained / certified tarot consultant. So, kumbaga, hindi po ako manghula. But at the same time, ginagamit ko po ang skills ko as a tarot reader to also give counseling and coaching. So, nagagamit ko rin siya this way. So, mas psychological ang approach ko. So, nahasa na po ako dyan. Halos 15 plus years na po ako nagbabasa. And one day, mga pre-pandemic, na hanap ko pang relationshiphero.com. And my husband encouraged me na, why don't you give this a go? So, I said, yeah, sure, why not? And I was very, very lucky na nung napasok po ako, I was given training, and then after that, we were encouraged to look for training in other aspects na specialization namin. So, I hope this answers your question, Gab.
May follow-up ako.
Sure.
Paano ba maging isang relationship coach? Ano ba yung pinagdadaanan nila bago sila dumating sa profession na yun?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So, I will have to tell you, there is no set, walang one and only na daan na pwedeng ka maging relationship coach. Okay. Of course, it will take training. Naswerte lang ako. Okay, I was just very, very lucky na nahanap ako ng relationship hero at nabigyan ako ng training that way. Okay. Now, you're also encouraged to get other training outside, whether that let's say for example, I think from what I understand, meron tayong mga ibang institutions dito locally that can train you to be a coach. Pwedeng relationship coach, pwedeng life coach. I would also recommend, if let's say for example makakapag-ipon ka, I would highly recommend also looking to international institutions like the Gottman Institute. Napakagaling po nila, very down to earth po yung mga lessons na binibigay nila. Also the International Coaching Federation. So ang nangyayari po kasi dito is binibigyan po kanila ng certification after 100 plus hours of volunteer coaching. So, but once you get that certificate, you can pretty much be assured na recognized ka as an official coach all over the world. So, you have these outlets na ganon. So, it can be scary, but it is definitely very, very fulfilling. And, kumbaga, magandang way po ito para makatulong ng tao.
So, ayun po. Of 15 years of being a relationship coach, ano yung usual ng mga concerns na nilalapit po sa inyo ng mga tao?
Okay. Thank you, Gab. Okay. Just a heads up, so far, I can tell you that I have been, para lang malinaw sa audience natin ha, I have been a relationship coach for more or less 1 or 2 years. But yung skills ko, na-apply ko siya sa ibang mga inaasikaso ko for 15 years. Okay? Now, going back, so yung mga tanong mo, usually the clients I get sa relationshiphero.com are either married couples, mga nagtatanong na hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko, parang feeling ko, take note, feeling ko my husband is cheating on me or my wife is cheating on me. Ano yung gagawin ko dito sa feeling na to? Or it has happened na bakit ganon, sobrang nagsaselos yung husband ko, wala naman akong ginagawa. You know, there has also been cases like, say for example, parang feeling ko hindi ko na mahal yung asawa ko, or I feel like I need to divorce my wife because I've fallen in love with somebody else, etc., etc., etc. Anong gagawin ko? Pag sa mga singles naman, yung mga lumalapit sa akin can either be uy, Jonette, I'm into this guy, we've been dating, kaso bakit parang on-off yung communication niya? Or, I've been into this girl for a long time, pero bakit ganun, parang mas pina-prioritize niya yung needs ng nanay niya kaysa sa sariling needs niya. So, paano na kami? Let me see. It has also happened that, and we are also trained to talk people down from unaliving themselves, because it has happened. I have had to talk somebody off from jumping off a ledge from a building. That's not easy. That's not easy. That's nerve-wracking. I have also had to deal with DV, with domestic violence. Pagdating sa ganyang mga kaso, we are legally responsible to tell them na we want to make sure you're safe. Please call these numbers. Can you do this for us? Do you want me to stay on the line so I can help? And so on and so forth. So, merong mga kaso din ganyan na nangyayari.
So, ito po. Wait lang. Mapunta na tayo sa pagiging single ulit.
Yeah,
sure.
Usually,
isa rin ba sa mga factors kung bakit yung tipong single for a long time yung isang tao? Is it because isa rin ba sa mga factors, halimbawa yung naging experiences, yung mga nakita experiences nila do sa parents nila, especially kung sila ay naghiwalay without any explaining their children why they were separated?
That is a very good question. I would actually go as far as to say, hindi lang dahil sa, kumbaga, like, kasi yung pagkaka-question mo is it because, am I single because of my parents? Maybe not. But definitely, I can tell you na there are aspects with how we look at love, how we look at relationships, how we look at ourselves even, that have been affected by what we see in our parents. Okay? So, usually kasi yan, ang nangyayari is, ang parents natin, yung pinakaunang mga tao na kung saan natin natututunan what love looks like or what we think love looks like. They're the people who model for us what love is, what kind of love feels familiar to us. Take note, what love feels familiar. Bakit merong word na ganyan? I will explain later. Okay. So, sometimes, usually what happens is, let's say, for example, kapag away ng away yung parents mo, pagkatapos, nagbabati sila without actual reconciliation or even, making it up to each other. Sometimes, the message na nabibigay sa atin is, okay, ang love is nagsasaktan, nag-hurt, you end up hurting each other, pagkatapos dapat hindi importante yung feelings mo. So sometimes nangyayari ang ganon. Now, or let's say for example, paminsan let's say for example, pag wala yung tatay or wala yung nanay all the time. So sometimes that can also model for us what love looks like to us. Now, if we go through life nang hindi natin napapag-isipan itong maigi, okay? Or kapag hindi natin nare-reflectan ito, sometimes what happens is we end up looking for love that feels very much like the kind of love that we saw our parents have. So this is why I say that it feels familiar to us. Kasi parang, where have I seen this before? Siguro this is the kind of love that I deserve. So dun tayo napupunta. And we end up getting hurt the same way. So now, once we are more conscious about that, once we are more aware of that, nasasabi natin na, teka, is this what I really deserve? Parang hindi. Kasi alam ko dapat deserve kong maging masaya. And this is why it is so important to do the inner work. Now, I will explain the inner work a little bit more. And thank you, Ronica, for raising your hand. How can I help you?
Actually, Ma'am Jonette, that actually hits me hard kasi first of all, when you discussed yung domestic violence, I actually grew up being aware of emotional abuse.
I'm so sorry to hear that. That must have been really hard for you.
Is slowly grasping it lang as I grew older na syempre mas nagkakaroon ako ng malay. Saka ko lang na-realize na meron palang ganun. Yung pagiging passive ng isang parent actually is bad, na parang they don't apologize or they don't actually try to fix themselves. And up to this age, parang ayun, there comes a certain age talaga with the parents na hindi mo na kayang baguhin pa yung ugali nila.
I hear you. Mm-hmm.
I think, parang syempre, sa tagal din ng pagiging single ko, I've come to a realization na a lot of things na red flags sa akin when it comes to looking for a partner is actually finding out that the guy I'm dating has traits na kagaya ng sa father ko.
There you go.
And what do you, aware na po ako dun. Kasi napansin ko na sometimes kahit sobrang goods nung guy, there's that blip chance na parang, hala, that's like my dad. So, I fall out, I leave, I get scared. Ano po yung sa tingin nyo yung like the best way? Like, is it okay if sabihin ko na lang sa sarili ko to ignore those red flags for me? Or would it be better to learn to accept it or to just leave? Kasi it's something na I don't want sa buhay ko.
Oh, Ronica, I feel so much for you, and I can only imagine how painful that was for you. But I also want to acknowledge how brave you are for actually being able to identify the patterns and you being able to take a step back and realizing, oh, okay, hold on. Yung situation na to hindi na safe for me because the same things that I'm seeing in this guy are the same things that I saw in my dad that I don't want to carry that into my relationship. Yeah. That is incredibly brave of you. I will tell you that. Kasi hindi madali. I'm telling you this, hindi madali to stand up for yourself, to stand up for what you believe you deserve. And actually, Gab, this is one thing I want to highlight about healthy boundaries. Because this is one of the basics in relationships that ang tayong mga Pilipino, usually hindi tayo natuturuan about this because actually as early as us being kids, yung mga healthy boundaries natin na-violate na. Okay? And to be fair, okay, I just want to be clear about this. It's quite possible na hindi din conscious yung parents natin that there is such a thing as boundaries. Okay? My own mom, she was already 53 when she found out na ang dami pa lang hindi maganda na ginagawa sa kanya ng mga ibang relatives niya. And it was just recently when she had her first therapy session at the wonderful golden age of 58 that she found out that her growing years were not for what a healthy childhood looked like. You know, it's just that they also were kids and hindi nila alam na kumbaga yung upbringing nila hindi nasagot yung needs nila, you know, and they can only teach us what they know. So it's hard, and I feel for you, Ronica, because what you went through with your dad, that was not easy. But at the same time, we have to grieve the idea that there are things that our parents cannot give us because they were also not given that in turn. And I think that it is so wonderful that you are already realizing this for yourself. Now, going back to what I was saying about healthy boundaries, and I think that you are already realizing what these are for yourself, Ronica. Okay? And that's a very brave thing to do. So, ano ang healthy boundaries? Hinga muna tayo. Ang healthy boundaries po kasi, essentially are yung mga bagay na we have to decide na ano ba ang okay sa akin at ano ang hindi okay sa akin. So, kumbaga, let's say for example, di po ba sa QC, meron na tayong law na bawal ang manghipo ng babae, you know, because na-highlight po diyan yung personal boundaries natin. So, kung let's say for example, I'm totally okay with, let's say for example, pag kailangan akong hilahin to safety, hahawakan ako dito. Right? Pero kung hahawakan ako sa dibdib or sa puwet, hindi na okay yon. Okay? So, the same thing works as well. We all have our own boundaries. We have boundaries for money. We have boundaries with how we are talked to. Okay? We have boundaries with our time. This is why pag trabaho, pag nag-clock out na tayo, I'm sorry, you cannot call me up for a meeting kasi nagdi-dinner na ako with my family. So that's still something we Filipinos struggle with. And I can actually, marami pa akong masasabi dito pero kasi konti na lang yung oras natin. So, going back, for you, Ronica, you're realizing now that number one, there are aspects of, let's say for example, a guy you're into na parang, this does not sit right with me. So, this is when you give you and this guy space to talk about what's going on. And okay, you can pretty much tell them na, hey, I really appreciate this being with you, but at the same time kasi may napapansin ako na ganito and natitrigger ako kasi ganito yung nangyari sa akin before. And I really value being together with you and enjoying your company, but at the same time, I want to be able to respect myself and be there for myself. So, what can we do to make this work for us? Okay. All right. I hear you, Gab. But I think that we can discuss a little bit more about this in the future if you'd like, Ronica. So, Gab, what do you think?
Going with the discussion kanina, naisip ko rin na isa rin sa factors yun kung bakit why most people are still single because of what they experience with their parents. Especially kapag nagkaaway sila, kapag marami na rin ako narinig na kwento on this na because of the failed relationships made by their parents. Minsan, ilan sa mga single people, hindi naman minsan nila lahat, na yun din yung nangyayari. Oo. na yun din yung nangyayari sa kanila na hindi ako katulad ng parents mo. Hindi natin nahayaan na ganun yung mangyayari sa atin.
Actually, yan yung gusto kong itanong kanina kay Miss Jonette. Kasi tayong tatlo dito, mawawalan jowa. Tapos siya lang yung may asawa. So, dapat siya yung nag-share ng tips sa atin kung paano
Pupunta rin tayo dyan. Alam ko,
hahantong tayo dyan.
Dyan na we will go on another session with that.
It's like, I'll tell you this, Veronica, yung pinagdaanan ko hindi rin super ganda. Okay. What do you call this? I'll tell you this. Finding the right person for you. And take note, I want to disabuse yung notion na may the one tayo, okay? Wala tayo sa matrix na merong the one na si Neo. Na there will always, every now and then, be the love of your life. And it's not just, if you feel like, ay, na-miss ko yung taong to, hindi ganon. You get to decide who the love of your life is. And actually, to also piggyback off yung isang sinabi mo, Gab. Okay, yes, totoo na we end up getting these patterns from our parents na sawi ako sa pag-ibig kasi ang pangit pala nung model na binigay sa akin ng parents ko, na pangit pala yung nakita ko sa kanila, forever lonely na ako. Hindi naman po sa ganon. Okay, we have the power to break these patterns. We have the power to break generational traumas. And this applies just as much for cisgendered partners as it does for our LGBTQIA+ community. Okay? Now, in any sort of relationship, I'll tell you, Gab, I have also coached polyamorous relationships. I have been very, very lucky to have worked with a gay couple na nung una, yung client ko may super duper big trust issues siya doon sa long distance partner niya, and I'm very, very happy to say na after 6 months of working together, he and his partner are now tying the knot in Wales. So so happy ako, feeling ko super swerte ako na super blessed ako na I have been given very good clients who have really done the work. Okay, so going back to your question, Gab, the way my partner says it essentially is our parents hand down the maps they inherited from their own parents to us. And when we get the map, paminsan kulang-kulang siya. And sometimes the parents cannot admit that because natatakot sila na ay baka questionin yung authority ko, ay baka sabihin na kulang na masama akong parent, ay baka sabihin na kulang ako sa experience. So nagmamatigas sila. Okay. Now we are very lucky kids. If let's say for example, we get a parent who goes, anak, eto kasi yung natutunan ko. Alam ko na sa generation ninyo kulang na kulang ito. So the best thing I can do is to give you the tools you will need to make your own maps, because you are gonna go far. You are gonna go places na hindi ko ever mai-imagine. Ang layong ng mararating mo, at mas you will get to see the world in a much bigger way than I ever will. So I cannot give you a complete map of life, but here, eto, gamitin mo yung mga tools na ibibigay ko sa'yo. Ikaw na bahala because I believe in you. So that's one of the best ways, I think, if ever we decide to be parents, or even ninong or nina, or even if we have younger folks who want to learn from us. This is, I think, one of the best ways that we can teach them to face life. And how can I help you?
Babalik ko lang yung regarding sa pagiging member ng LGBT community kasi.
Yes, please.
Yung na-realize ko lang kasi in connection dun sa pagsiset ng boundaries, isa dun sa mga realizations ko na why I find myself having difficulties enforcing them is because growing up kasi bilang nasa mid-30s, dati wala naman kasing models ng wala namang media representation of what LGBT couple looks like. So, sorry, and I know sobrang outdated nitong ganitong notion, but then kasi taga-probinsya kasi ako, and then sa probinsya namin, yung mga members lang ng LGBT is either yung butch presenting na lesbians and yung mga gays na usually nasa parlor. And I know this is parang sobrang internalized homophobia kasi iniisip ko to kunwari na bakit na pag mag-i-enforce ako ng boundary with the partner, parang laging may pumipigil sa akin na, maswerte ka nga, nagustuhan ka niya, di ba tibuka, yung ganon. And so, ayun, gusto ko lang siyang isabihin na, kasi baka may iba ding makarelate na pagka iniisip nila na hindi ka deserving makareceive ng genuine love just because part ka ng LGBT. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for saying that, Anne. And that is absolutely true. I am very, my heart goes out to you. I sympathize na ganun yung nakagisnan mo sa hometown mo. And you're absolutely right. Marami pa rin tayong kailangang ayusin at ungkatin pagdating po sa kung paano nire-respeto ng Pilipinas ang LGBT communities natin. Okay? Now, going back to what you said, you're absolutely right. Boundaries are still important no matter what your gender is, no matter what sexual preference you have. Boundaries matter pa rin. Your healthy boundaries and your needs matter. Okay? So I think this is a great way for us to go back to what you were asking me about, Gab. Okay, and I will tell you this, Gab, Veronica, Anne, you being single right now is one of the best times of your life for you to meet yourself. I am not kidding. Because when you think about it, before you get into a relationship with other people, napaka-importante po na you get into a relationship with yourself. Okay, Ronica, what are you thinking? What's on your mind?
I agree. I completely agree. Kasi I have friends na parang all their life they're in a relationship. Yung tipong parang hindi nababakante. So, when you're single, parang isipin mo palaging, how do you do that? How do you find someone who could stick up with you through all your hassles sa buhay na these are the things na hindi mo magagawa on your own if may partner ka. Parang you will always think na may partner naman ako, may tutulong sa akin, someone has my back. And essentially, yun talaga yung nagiging number one na parang requirement ko whenever nakikipag-date ako.
To give up my peace of mind, to give up my being content by myself, living the way I want, eating ice cream for dinner or whatever. Essentially, if you are incredibly content with yourself, and just like what you said, ikaw, Ronica, as you mentioned, nakakapag-ipon ka for a house for yourself. Dude, hindi yun biro. Napakalaking goal and napakalaking achievement nun. And that is something, if this is something that fulfills you, if this is something that brings you joy, sobrang props, because this is you, happy woman by yourself. Okay? Now, as for Joannes, isipin mo siya na parang kumbaga, once you are happy with yourself, makakadagdag ba siya sa kaligayahan mo?
Exactly.
So, I'll tell you this, ha. I'll also share my own story. When I was in college, I got together with a guy that I thought I had a crush on. And we had a relationship for 13 years. And I sincerely thought that we were gonna get married. Nangangako siya na by the time we hit 30, papakasalan niya ako. Girls, guys, umabot kami ng 36 ako. And it took the final straw nung na-realize ko na binabastos niya yung nanay ko. Na I broke up with him. I took the kids, which were my two cats. No, they're not our cats. They are mine now. Oh boy, talagang iniyakan ko yon. And then after some time, when I moved out dahil sa trabaho, I learned to live by myself sa maginhawa. Hindi biro yung pinagdaanan ko. Kasi, there were times na ang pinaka-pagkain ko all throughout the week was kung hindi oatmeal skyflakes, kung hindi skyflakes oatmeal. Ganon. Ako kipet ang budget. But you know what? Actually, it was at that time nung naging mag-isa ko na na-realize ko na, kaya ko pala to. Na, mas alam ko na kung ano ang itsura ng true friends ko. And more importantly, this was a very good time for me to experience na yun pala nag-a-adjust lang ako nung nag-a-adjust doon sa ex ko na siya yung naghahawak ng remote palagi pag nanonood kami. Siya yung kung ano, bawal kung i-meet yung friends ko or bawal na gawin ko yung gusto ko because it's gonna meet with his disapproval. I could not wear what I wanted because bawal sa kanya. And it was at that time that I realized na ngayong single na ako, I can pretty much explore as much as I want. I can cultivate that healthy relationship with myself again. And I got to see for myself na okay pala ako as I am. But Gab, I want to check in with you. What are your thoughts?
With that, parang masasabi ko na red flag din. It's part of a relationship kung paano ka makikipag-interact sa ibang tao. Kung halimbawa na hindi maganda yung pakikitungo niya sa ibang tao, how much more pa kung halimbawa sa'yo niya gawin yun. Despite na pinapakita niya sa'yo na he's caring with you, na tipong lahat ng love and affection na ibibigay niya sa'yo, pero sa ibang tao, hindi niya kayang ibigay. Diba? Parang, nakaka-red flag siya, ang pangit ng tingnan na doble cara yung ginagawa.
Sorry, pardon me. Okay. So, tama yung sinasabi mo, Gab. Also, I'll tell you this, folks. Being by yourself. And I know that hindi ito madali for everyone because when you think about it, medyo privileged tayo na we're actually able to live on our own. Dahil alam ko na marami sa ating mga kababayan na nagigipit na kailangan pa rin tumira sa parents nila. Or sometimes they feel na kailangan nilang mag-partner up even with someone na ayaw nila kasi ganun na lang ka-mahal ng living expenses. Okay? Now, I think this is something that we can discuss another time, Gab. But in the meantime, living by yourself or getting to have a relationship with yourself is so important. Kasi this is when you realize what your core values are. And yung core values mo, ang gagabay sa iyo. Kasi hindi lang sa paghahanap ng future partner mo, pero siya rin ang tutulong sa iyo kung ano ang magiging, kung paano mag-establish ng boundaries mo. So, ano ba yung core values natin? Excuse me. I have this exercise. Tanongin mo muna yung sarili mo na instead of just asking, what is my ideal partner like? You can also ask, what kind of experience do I want in a relationship? What kind of experience do I want in a relationship? Gusto ko ba na madrama siya? Gusto ko ba na umaat-katikabong aksyon siya? Gusto ko ba na calm, quiet, very healing, very nurturing siya? And then I have them do this. And this is one exercise that I actually did that kind of led me to find my current partner. I remembered after the breakup, I took to my diary, tapos naglista ako ng sandamakmak na things na parang yung requirements ko for my future partner. Kung ano-ano na lang yung pinasok ko doon. Nung una mga sinasabi ko, kailangan mayaman, kailangan pogi, must love cats, kailangan magaling magluto, etc. etc. Pagkatapos later on, naging kailangan maihaharap ko sa nanay ko. Kailangan he gets with my friends. Kailangan alam niya yung mga hilig ko, yung mga gusto ko. Kailangan pag mag-aaway kami, we reconcile right away. And then later on, naging he is someone who is kind. He is someone who listens to me. He is someone who is there for me when I am down. He is my biggest cheerleader. He is someone who values creativity, who values insight. Someone who, and then after some time, giniwan ko siya. One day after, binalikan ko siya. And then, hinati ko yung listahan into areas that are wants, yung mga nice to have. So doon nalaglag yung mayaman, may kotse, gwapo. Meron din yung sa mga requirements na part of their personality, na has good taste, dresses well, etc. etc. Meron naman later on din where the parts of the list na is kind, is caring, is understanding, has a strong sense of right and wrong, is patient, is sincere, and so on and so forth. These are actually core values. These are what you call your core values. And when you think about it, when you go through this list, when you go through this exercise, most of yung core values na nasulat ko are actually my own core values. So the same values that you look in other people, that you are looking for in your ideal partner, are actually your values. So this is something I want you folks to think about, na oo nga, no? Okay, so kung ganun, napaka-importante ng core values natin. So kailangan nating pag-isipin na, number one, ano ba yung mga core values ko from somebody else? Because like will always call to like. Alright? Kung if you value integrity, you value creativity, if you're the type who is sincere, who does not back down from a fight when you know na tama yung kung may katwiran ka or tama yung pinaglalaban mo, usually nyan, merong the same person who has the same core values will be very, very attracted to that. From that point on, that's what helped me find the right person. And that's when I realized na may ganun palang tao sa paligid ko. Na yung ex ko, the reason why hindi pala kami nag-jive ng ex ko is because yung nakita ko sa kanya, yung hinahanap ko sa kanya very superficial pala. So at this point, I also realized it doesn't help to blame the other person. Although there will also be other aspects that you can learn from the previous relationship. It always takes two to tango. But the good thing about this now, folks, is you already have more insight as to what your needs are, what you want the other person to bring to the table, and what you yourself can contribute to the relationship. All right. Now, in terms of healthy boundaries, ready na ba tayo for boundaries?
Pwede naman. Pero ang ano din, gusto ko lang din i-share. Ito rin yung isa sa mga bagay bakit hindi ako nagtatagumpay to enter into a relationship. Nung college ako, nag-try ako before, pero na-realize ko rin na tama rin pala yung naging decision niya because nung time na nasa college ako, I was very active in organization. But at the same time, I have problems on my own. Grades ko noon, meron ako isang major subject na alam ko, babagsak ako. Pangalawa, yung thesis pa namin ng college. Pangatlo, medyo na-sadness na ako dun sa part na yung time na mag-celebrate yung grandparents. They decided to sell their vehicle. Na meron din sentimental value sa akin. Since when I was a kid. So, nagsabay-sabay lahat.
Yeah.
So, ayun. Naisip ko lang din na nung una medyo nalulungkot ako na hindi kami. Pero, baka madala ko lang din into sa magiging relationship namin in the future na hindi ko kayang bigyan ng time because commitments. And as well as yung baka kung halimbawa na mag-date kami, hindi ako hindi ako makapag-contribute, something like that. Gusto part na split the bill or sasabihin ko na sasagutin ko yung pang-date namin pero hindi ko pala kaya. Parang something like that. And then, isa pa yun, kung bakit then that time hindi pa rin ako ka-enter into a relationship is because wala rin akong pera. Yun yung yun yung isang part din doon na maliit lang din yung allowance na binibigay sa akin nanay ko. And at the same time, nakakahiya rin na you are spending on a day tapos iihingi mo pa sa parents mo yung pang-tutor o yung pang-gastos mo for that. So, parang na-realize ko, it's a red flag ko. Hinintay ko na lang na talagang I took their advice seriously from my grandparents as well as from my mother. Tapusin ko muna yung college. Saka na ako paghanap or to enter into a relationship dahil tumataas din ang inflation. Mahirap ang buhay ngayon.
Nako guys, Gab, tama ka doon na Diyos ko po, ang sibuyas pa lang nakaka-high blood. Okay, but also actually that's just one thing na kailangan din nating pag-isipan. Actually hindi lang sa financial resources natin. We also all need to be aware of how we can contribute sa relationship with what we have, what skills we have, yung sa perspectives natin sa buhay. Kasi like say for example, nagkaroon ako ng kliyente na naghahanap siya ng parang mga super successful CEO type guys. Okay? So, tinanong ko sa kanya, okay, but what kind of expectations do you want from this person? Ang sabi niya is, ang gusto ko, kailangan he spends most of his time with me, kailangan he takes me out to this, to that. And I had to give her a reality check. Na, okay, girl, wait lang. You say that you want this guy to be focused on his work, to be career-minded, but at the same time, you want him to also spend most of his time with you. Teka muna, will you be capable of doing that for him? And how do you expect somebody to be focused on his career and still spend most of his time with you and dedicate most of his time with you? Kasi you also have to be aware of what the other person and respect what the other person can and cannot bring to the table. So, that doesn't necessarily mean na, pagbibigyan ko na lang yung isang tao kasi hindi nasasagot yung needs ko. Not necessarily na ganun. But, it's very important to acknowledge na there will be certain needs na pag-iisipin mo na alin dito sa mga needs ko ang pinaka-importante. Alin dito yung kaya ko or naming gawa ng paraan. Okay? So maybe later on you realize that money is not such a big deal for you as it is intentional listening or holding that non-judgmental space for each other, or even being thoughtful about how to best surprise you kahit sa mga maliliit na bagay. So you also have to bear in mind what the other person can contribute and what you also can bring to the table. Okay? So I hope that answers your question, Gab. And I sincerely think at the time na you were very prudent, you were very wise na if what will belong to you will not pass you by. Okay? So I think it was great that you took the time to also take a step back and observe and kind of let life happen.
Yeah.
So,
ang din, parang ayun doon sa nakwento nyo kanina, gusto ko mag-react na,
sure.
Girl, hindi lang sa kanya iikot ang mundo mo, may sarili rin buhay.
Exactly. And I'll tell you this, guys. I mean, folks, anyone who says otherwise, hindi po, what do you call this? We all have our own types, and the very fact that this person got attracted to you because of your life means something. And here's the thing, just because you got and this is one thing na napansin ko, kasi like say for example, I have a number of cosplayer friends who complain na bakit ganon, ang daming guys out there naghahanap sila ng sexy na cosplayer na jowa. Okay, and then when they finally get together with a cosplayer girl, they start insisting na bawal ka magsuot ng ganito, bawal ka magpakita ng katawan, bawal ka magstay out late with photo shoots, bawal this, bawal that. And when you think about it, teka muna, those exactly are the things that make up what got you attracted to me in the first place. So now, bakit mo ako ginagawa? Why are you taking this lifestyle away from me? So you also have to acknowledge that if this is what you fell in love with or what attracted you to this person, you let that other person live their life. I don't know if this will apply, but one thing that I also learned about healthy boundaries, this is one of the most elegant, one of the most concise ways to explain it. Healthy boundaries are the best way that I can love both you and me at the same time. Healthy boundaries are how I can love both you and me at the same time. So, kumbaga, I can love you without discounting myself, and I can love me without discounting you. Kasi kapag may nag-cross dun sa boundary na yon, hindi na okay yon. Okay? All right. But I hope that I'm not taking this elsewhere, Gab. Pero just checking in with you.
With that, ma'am, naisip ko din na yan, parang we need to accept who they are. Parang yung kung ano man yung flaws nila, kung ano man yung weaknesses nila, we have to accept it. But instead of letting them weak for a lifetime, why not giving them strength para lumakas yung loob nila, di ba? It makes the relationship much more healthy.
That is actually a good thought, Gab. Okay. Although medyo marami ako pang madadagdag dyan. Okay? Now, I think, yes, that's true. Na it's good that you give them strength. It's good that you accept their weaknesses, accept their human limitations. But at the same time, love takes work. Okay, now what do I mean by this? I think that there is a lot to explain about the phrase love takes work then we can actually cover within 1 minute 30 seconds. So Gab, what
So, punta na tayo doon sa part na dahil marami yung naghahanap ng kanilang future partners. Ang future partner pala, wag yung may S kasi polygamy yan.
Mali.
I have something to say about that, Gab. Okay, just for the record, okay. We of course want to also acknowledge that polyamory is still ang polyamory iba yun sa polygamy, okay. Ang polyamory is still a valid relationship choice. Okay? Because not everyone sees it as a binary. Not everyone sees it as just one-to-one. Okay? Now, we can also have future partners. Like I said, there is no one partner. And when I say that, it doesn't just mean that this is the person I will die with forever and ever. Amen. Because we have our own life paths. Okay, I will be transparent. My partner is 20 years older than me. And so far, we have had a very, very happy 4 years together. And he is actually the healthiest, the safest, sanest, most satisfying, healthiest relationship I have ever had. I know that one day, knock on wood, hopefully not too soon, that my partner is going to pass away earlier than me. Or, and I hope this never happens, but it is still possible, it is still within the realm of possibility that I will go ahead of my partner. If I end up going ahead, I want him to find someone who will love him way, way, way better than I ever could. And I think that he would feel the same way for me. And this is why I say that we do not have just one life partner. We do not have just one love of our life, because we always go into different parts of our life and we get to choose who the loves of our lives are. So, yun lang. I'm sorry, Gab. Go ahead.
May question ako. Parang, paano ba natin masasabi na itong taong ito, he or she is the right person for me?
Okay.
Aside from the core values that we have, ano pa yung iba pa?
Ano yung iba pa? Excellent question. Okay, number 1. Do you feel safe with this person? And when I say safe, I don't just mean physically safe na hindi ka sinasapak, hindi ka tinatadyak, hindi ka dinidivite. Okay, hindi yon. Hindi lang yon. When I say safe, I mean, are you emotionally safe with him? Or them, as a matter, with them, with her? Do you feel that when you need to be vulnerable, kapag pag sinishare mo yung mga pinakasaloobin mo, do they take the time to stop and listen and give you space in that non-judgmental manner? Na kahit kung anong napakalalim na parang baho na ilalantad mo sa kanya, that they can still look at you and say, I love you anyway. That's okay. We'll get through this together. I am with you through thick and thin. Number 2, does this partner respect you? Do they respect your space? Okay? Pag, let's say, for example, syempre, naglalambing kayo, but if, let's say, for example, parang hindi tama yung pagkakakiliti sa'yo or pagkakahawak mo sa'yo, if you say stop, do they stop? If you tell them na, B, kasi pasensya na, medyo private yung usapan na to kasi kawawa yung friend ko, or kasi medyo confidential yung project na to, pasensya na ha. Do they respect you? Do they give you grief over it? Na parang, do they say na, okay, sige, I guess hindi mo na ako mahal. Gumaganon ba sila? Or do they go, ganun ba? Sige, kasi importante yan eh. And then, and then after nun, hindi siya magtatanong. They'll just wait kung mag-offer ka ng something, ng information. Do you feel supported by them? Do you feel appreciated by them? Are they your biggest cheerleader when it comes to your successes? Are they, let's say for example, super na-appreciate yung project ninyo sa work dahil sa pagsisikap mo or dahil sa creativity mo, okay? Do they also take the time to let you know that they care about you? Do they take the time to know the little things about you? Like say for example, pag malungkot ka, tapos alam nila na ang french fries ang nagpapaligaya sa'yo. Binibilang ka ba ng french fries? Or let's say for example, this is why yung parang even if it's just flowers or even if it's just masahe, you know, or kung let's say for example na alam mo, napansin ko parang medyo sub-sub ka sa trabaho. Okay, ganito, gusto mo mag-break ka muna, mag-outing kayo ng friends nyo doon sa kung saan, pagkatapos ako bahala dito sa chores, gusto mo? Ako bahala dito sa mga bata. You know, basta tapos pagkarating mo dito, pagka-uwi mo, malinis yung bahay, tulog yung mga bata, and happy siya na makita ka. So, does your partner do these things for you? Kapag push comes to shove, kapag nagipit kayo, or kapag nagkaroon kayo ng super laking problema, whether that means kailangan i-rush ka to the hospital, or nagkaroon ng malaking aksidente, or nawalan kayo ng trabaho, are they there for you through thick and thin? Are they going to say, ay naku, kasalanan mo kasi yan kasi ang bobo mo, kasi hindi ka nag-aasikas, hindi mo inaatupag yung trabaho mo kasi pinapabayaan mo? Do they say stuff like that? Or do they say like, okay, I know baby, this is gonna be difficult, I know medyo kailangan natin maghigpit ng sinturon, pero alam mo, you have me, we're gonna do this together, masasurvive natin to, kapit lang tayo, gawa lang tayo ng paraan, basta we're together, alam ko magiging okay tayo. Do they do stuff like that? So these are things that you kind of want to think about. Okay, Ronica, what do you think?
First, dun pa lang sa yung sa unang point niyo po, like, nakita ko na agad doon na ang dami talagang hindi umaabot sa point na yun. Kasi, sa akin, meron akong tendency talaga na when I feel threatened, like, not physically, but more emotionally, na parang I feel na parang yung taong to hindi kayang i-reciprocate or man lang ma-appreciate yung efforts ko. Hindi man lang ma-appreciate yung the feeling of threatened, na parang nati-threaten ako for myself, na masasaktan ako dito. Nakikita ko na ano ba naman yung mag-text ka lang ng isang beses isang araw just to tell me na you're okay. Yun lang.
Or kahit na yung tipong, hi baby, good morning.
Yes,
kumain ka na ba?
Diba?
So, this is, I think, it's very interesting that you brought this up, Ronica, kasi importante din na isipin natin ano ba yung mga deal breaker sa atin.
Yes.
And I can feel that this is a big deal breaker for you. And I think that words yung isa sa mga love languages mo. Tama ba?
Yes po.
Okay. So that's actually one very important thing, and I will also be I am very grateful to the love languages kasi nakakatulong siya sa pag-intindi natin sa isa't isa. Now, when this happens, okay, this is when if this is something that is really important for you, you take the time na kausapin mo yung partner mo, and then you go, uy babe, first first positive reinforcement. Okay.
Yes.
You go, you know what? And this is one thing that I've noticed, and this is Gab tip ito sa'yo. I advise a lot of the wives and the girlfriends na nagiging kliyente ko, when they say, you know what, babe, I really, really love it kapag tinetext mo ko kasi I feel like I'm the only girl in the world for you. I feel like ako yung prinsesa mo and I feel so loved, so cherished. I really love it when you do this for me. So, ganun yung template. Ayun, diba, when you go, alam mo, kapag hinuhugasan mo yung pinggan, feeling ko love na love mo talaga ako. Feeling ko cherished na cherished ako. Feeling ko na parang ako yung pinakamaswerteng babae sa mundo kasi ikaw yung, kasi kung paano ka magluto ng breakfast, kung paano mo alagaan yung mga bata, And from what I understand, I want to check in with you, Gab, okay? Pag sinasabihan, can you imagine, pag may nagsabi ng ganyan sa'yo, how would that make you feel?
Parang ang saya, parang nakaka-fulfill sa part ko na I made her happy despite all of the problems that she had for the day.
Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, yun yung pinaka maaalala mo, di ba?
Yeah.
So
Parang
that is going
parang ito yung feeling na na wala kang ibang maiisip kundi yun lang yung mga sinabi niya that day. Yun yung
yes,
sa utak mo. Yung tipong
exactly.
kulang na lang makalimutan mo lahat ng trabaho mo. Yun na yung pumalit.
Yun yung motivation mo, di ba?
Yeah.
So, and take note, does this make you want to do more of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is how you make it. That is how you encourage your partners to do something for you. Okay? You make them feel, you highlight kung ano yung positive na ginagawa nila for you. Alam mo, babe, ang sarap mo talaga magmasahe. Parang ikaw yung, parang akong Reyna. or what do you call this? Parang ako yung pinakamagandang babae sa balat ng lupa pag sa mga masahe mo. Or pag naglalaba ka, ang swerte kong tao, you know. So actually, you are focusing on the positives.
Yes.
And that will make people want to do more of that for you. Okay? Now, knock on wood, if that does not work, we can also try something else. And this is where you take your partner, you sit down with them, and you go, you know what, babe, I really appreciate lahat ng effort mo. Kaso mo kasi, when you do this, when you do X, or when you do something, it makes me feel sad. Because it makes me feel like hindi ako importante sa'yo. So, like say for example, for your example, using your example, Ronica, when you say like, alam mo, I really appreciate what you do for me, but it also makes me feel sad kapag wala akong nakikitang text sa'yo. Kasi feeling ko na hindi ako valuable sa'yo. Or it makes me feel like I'm not someone important to you, or I'm not someone you value, you know, and I want to be that person for you. What can we do about this together? So you don't tell them what to do, but you ask, okay, team tayo, we're in this together. What can we do so that we can get through this together? Because you have to remember, it's not you versus them. It's the two of you versus the problem. So, okay, I want to check in with you, Ronica. I what do you think?
Eto siguro, my next question is directed to Sir Gab, since siya lang yung guy dito. On the note na hindi pa naman jowa, yun po kasi yung mahirap. Diba? As a person na hindi mo pa naman jowa, like going out pa lang, once you ask these things, hindi ba nakaka-pressure? Hindi ba parang nandun na tayo, actually dito po sa aking age range, ito po yung pinaka-confusing na dating stage kasi some people are playing around, some people are getting serious. Yeah. And sometimes, you really can't tell. Kahit sabihin mo na, there was this guy actually na sobrang honest with me and siya talaga yung parang nakwentuhan ko when I moved out of my house. So, sobrang comfortable. And then, yun nga, there are days na hindi siya magte-text. But, I know for a fact na once I ask na mag-text siya sa akin, that's it. Kasi there are guys, or even girls actually, na pag hiningan mo ng gano'n, na parang sasabihin mo na, I feel sad pag hindi ka nagte-text sa akin, nape-pressure. Or they feel na parang, you are not the kind of person, or wala pa tayo sa stage na iti-text kita. Wala pa tayo sa stage na I want to give that kind of happiness sa'yo. So, ito po, I think this is more on the dating stage, yung bago maging babe, bago maging asawa, bago maging jowa. And I think this is where we're stuck. I think dito kami nasa stuck, yung mga single.
I think pag ganyan, actually you raise a very good point, Ronica. Pag sa ganyan, I think it still applies. Okay? In the sense na when you folks are still going out, and you notice na parang pag more or less medyo comfortable na kayo sa isa't isa, okay, and you start saying stuff like, hey, so of course you first do the number, you first highlight the positives,
yeah,
and then afterwards you know what, and this is why you also say, and this is why when I don't receive kasi love language ko yun, and that's why when I don't get messages like that, it kind of makes me feel sad, you know. And this is not to put pressure on you. It's just that I want you to know I want you to know that if this is something that you want for us to continue, if this is something that works with you, or that you value too, I want you to also know what I value, you know. So kumbaga, you all, and likewise, 'di ba? I think when you communicate this, it's also important na you listen to what their needs are too. Okay? So, let's say for example, if let's say for example, ganun ba? Kasi ako, sometimes I feel like I also need to, I need my quiet time kasi ganito, ganyan, ganyan. And this is where the two of you compromise. Okay? This is where the two of you understand na, okay, check if this works for you both. Because if it does not work for you both, that might be something that you'll have to reconsider. You know? So again, think about, is this a deal breaker for you, or is this something that you can kind of adjust with? Okay. And how can I help you? I am super interested in what you have to say, because yeah, go for it. What's on your mind?
Hindi, question lang. Kasi, di ba, parang nung dinescribe mo yung parang mga ideal characteristics ng person na you look for in a partner, and then what if nahanap mo yun, someone na sobrang swak kayo, pareho, ganun, parang nasa safe, comforting relationship kayong dalawa. However, friend kasi mo siya. So, in a friendly way ba yun? Or, so, parang worth it ba na kunwari you find yourself parang liking a friend more than you should? Parang there's always this risk of parang ruining friendship or kapag umamin ka. So, yung question ko is parang kapag ka ganun, parang i-risk ba dapat yung friendship to say your truth, or dapat mas piliin yung friendship? Kasi diba, minsan yung mga best relationship natin are with friends, and mas minsan nagtatagal sila than romantic relationship.
I hear you, Anne. And that is that's a very, very good question. Thank you for raising that. This is going to take guts. This is going to take a lot of courage to do that. And I sincerely think that if you feel that the risk is worth it, by all means, absolutely. It's also in the way that you broach the topic. Okay, and I would actually say, here's what my take on it. Okay, if let's say for example you are good friends and you tell them, hi, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel that I need to share with you my truth, my personal truth, kung ano yung saloobin ko, and I feel very attracted to you, or I feel I do care very deeply about you. And you may not, it's okay if you don't reciprocate those feelings now, you know, but I just need to tell you that I feel this way about you, and I will respect whatever you feel about this too. Okay, and if let's say for example, if they feel the same way about you, fantastic, congratulations. If they say, I'm sorry, but I don't return the feelings, and that's okay, we respect their decision. It will hurt like hell, understandably so, because we are human. But at the same time, we also appreciate how upfront they are. Because I sincerely think na mas maigi na yon na sabihin nila kung ano yung totoo for them, what is true for them, kaysa sa sabihin nila, I guess, or okay lang, pagkatapos hindi kabigyan ng straightforward answer. And that's gonna end up hurting you in the long run much more. Now, if they end up saying na, and I want you guys to also have that sort of language na feel free and comfortable and safe enough to say, I don't feel ready right now. I feel really flattered that you feel this way about me, but I don't think I'm ready for this right now. And that's okay. That's okay. Hindi ibig sabihin na binasted ka. Ang ibig sabihin lang nun is they had the courage, they had the respect, they respect you enough to give you the truth and still nurture that friendship with you. And that's okay, because people change, people will grow into other versions of themselves. And who's to say that you guys won't fall in love down the line? Or who's to say that you won't find somebody else who is actually a better match for you? Diba? So, by all means, I would sincerely say, go for it. If go for it if you feel that you can stand by your truth, and at the same time that you can respect that other person's truth too. So, and I want to tell you this, Anne, na just because the other person says no does not mean na may kulang sa'yo, does not mean na may masama sa'yo. It just means that they're not ready for you. That's all. It just means that they are not ready for what you can offer, and that's okay. Not everyone is ready to accept what you have, but there will always be someone out there who will be ready to accept what you have. It might not be that person right now. It might be that same person maybe 2 years down the line. I don't know. But being not ready for what you have to offer is understandable, and it's human. It just means that what you have to offer is incredibly wonderful and hindi pa nila kaya. Yun lang.
Thank you po sa template. Tinype ko na, sisend ko na.
Okay, good luck.
Alam mo, ma'am, nakarelate ako doon sa sinabi niyo, doon sa part na yan.
Which one?
Pag-confess ng feelings and accepting the hard truth. It happened to me way back yun din, noong 2017, which was then yung time na I was at the bottom of my college years.
Mm-hmm.
I have this feeling for the girl. Then one time, sinabi niya sa akin that time na pang hindi pa daw siya ready. I have the feelings for her and she appreciated it. Pero parang ang pakiramdam niya is hindi niya kayang tapatan yung kaya kong ibigay sa kanya. Kasi masyado akong caring. Not just only for her but for everyone ng mga classmates niya. Since senior nila ako that time. Aside from accepting the reality, ito sa part na buti na lang hindi nangyari sa akin to. So, nung time na yun, naisip ko rin, kung halimbawa na karoon man ng feeling na appreciate niya ako, despite what happened to us, to sa aming dalawa, we remain friends because of the respect that we have for each other.
Brilliant. I think that is something incredibly beautiful that you have going there, Gab. See, so it's the mutual respect that keeps the two of you going. And I sincerely think napakaganda po nun. Mas maigi na yon kisa sa hindi kayo magrespetuhan at all. You know, mas maigi na you be truthful, you be upfront, you be sincere. Actually, more importantly, kasi diba, we have this idea of brutal honesty. Pero kasi I don't feel that's right. Kasi when you value someone as much as possible, you also want to be mindful about yung feelings nila as you tell them the truth. So I think instead of being brutally honest, we can say na be sincere. Be sincere. And so this sincerity, this mutual respect that you have for each other is what deepened your friendship pa. And I think that's a sign of incredible growth for the two of you. Good for you guys.
Time na yun, naisip ko rin na I'm just being a friend for her.
Yeah.
Na ako makinig sa kanya.
Actually, Gab, maganda yun. Kasi at that time, sincerely, ang pinaka kailangan niya, hindi isa pang boyfriend. Ang kailangan niya is friend. And I'm so glad you made that decision to be there for her without any expectation, without any judgment, more specifically. What do you call this? And without thinking na dahil ginawa mo ito for her, entitled ka na to whatever favor she can do for you. I think, unfortunately, that is one problem natin as with toxic masculinity in Filipinos. We end up thinking na naging mabait ako dito sa babae, she owes me sex, or she owes me her time, she owes me this, she owes me that. I remember coming across this statement na what do you call this, being parang ang babae, hindi yan vending machine na you put kindness coins into it and expect sex in return. That's not how it works. You need to also treat women as their own complex people. And if they get hurt because of a mistake, or if they get hurt because somebody else was being a not very nice person to them, yes, that is their journey to take, that is their lesson to learn, but at the same time, it's like, who are you to her? Na are you gonna be someone who is gonna be there to support her, to give her the moral support, the emotional strength she needs without taking advantage of her? Or are you just gonna be like one of those other guys who make her feel unsafe? So if I would highly recommend, sincerely, pag sa mga ganyang situations, be that person who can make her feel safe. Be that person who can say, hey, I got your back. I know this sucks right now. I know napakasakit ng period na to. I'm here for you. Okay lang, naiiyak mo to. We'll get through this together. Saka na muna yung romance, because I know this is not what you need right now. I know that this is gonna be a big distraction, and quite sincerely, you don't have the emotional bandwidth for this right now. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility right now is to grieve the relationship, is to feel your feelings, and to spend time healing yourself. Okay? Pag okay ka na, sige, tignan natin. So, good for you, Gab. I sincerely hope that more men out there take that value to heart. Okay?
Na ano ko lang din na despite na yung doon sa naging friendship namin, may mga nagtatanong din sa akin before na, oy kuya, ipupursue mo pa rin ba si ganito? Ganyan. Kasi alam mo na, single na siya ulit ngayon dahil ang sinabi ko sa sarili ko, I told also ito din na let take time develop kung ano man yung meron sa amin. Kasi kung halimbawang ipupush ko yan, baka it will end somewhere else na hindi namin magugustuhan pareho.
Yeah, that is valid. That is very valid. Mm-hmm.
Pero
I think, go on. Mm-hmm.
Kahit sabihin na I still parang binibigyan ko pa rin siya ng importante. Pero ang din kasi, mas inuuna ko yung feelings niya. Kasi kung alam mo na mahal mo yung isang tao, iintindihin mo siya.
Yeah. Tsaka, I'll tell you this, Gab, ha? I mean, if at some point you pag sa self-reflection mo, ma-realize mo that you still have feelings for them. Okay? It's absolutely okay to still try again. All right? And yes, it's great that you put their feelings first. It does not hurt to ask. Magtatanong ka lang. Okay? Okay lang na magtanong ka. And when they say na, Gab, pasensya na, hindi pa ako ready eh. That's okay. We respect that. But if, let's say, for all we know, we will not know the answer unless we ask. And asking is not demanding, and I want to establish this na if you can make her feel safe, if you can make her feel na this is a non-judgmental space and she can speak her mind freely without her getting scared na sasaktan mo siya or tatanggalin mo yung friendship mo sa kanya. Na the way my partner says it is, unfortunately, a lot of people hold relationships hostage. Na parang, kailangan you say yes to me or else hindi na tayo bate or hindi na tayo friends, hindi na kita mahal. And unfortunately, we get that from our parents sometimes. We get that from our siblings. We get that from our friends even. Na you have to do this for me. You have to follow what I want or else I don't love you anymore. I will remove my love from you. And that is terrifying. That is very painful. So I think, Gab, it's totally okay that you ask, that you give it another try. Just ask kung pwedeng mang-akyat ng ligaw. But at the same time, it's very important that you also establish na safe space ito. Kahit anong maging sagot mo, basta totoo, please, I will accept and I will respect because I value you that much as a person.
So, ayun po. Mapunta naman tayo with regards on the dating apps. Since ito nabanggit ko rin before na since last year pa ako gumagamit ng dating app. Hindi lang makapag-premium because ang mahal. So, kung halimbawa meron ng there were people na nag-swipe right sa amin right or I made a swipe right, then yun, nag-swipe right back ako sa kanila. So, how can we make to start a good conversation?
That's a very interesting question. Okay. What do you call this? Syempre, what do you call this? I would say personally na go talk to them like you would any regular person. Okay? And actually tama si Ronica in a sense na it's always important to be upfront about who you are. Okay? Wag naman yung tipong inungod-ngod yung sarili mo sa pagmumukha nila. Wag naman po yung ganun. Pero
parang jowain mo na ako, parang awa mo na.
Okay. So that's actually where dun tayo what do you call this, dun natin kukut-kutin yan. Okay. So it already also depends on ano ba yung intention mo going into this app. Okay? Is it more of to meet people or is it more of because nagiging desperado ka na?
Yes
okay.
po.
Okay. Right? Kasi here's the thing. Here's the thing. If we start getting desperate, ang nangyayari niyan is namamadi or namamuddle up yung core values natin. Na kumbaga, ano ba yung hanap natin sa potential partner? Okay? So if let's say for example, your I think this is also what some of our parents say na yung standards natin. Actually, ang standards natin is core values. Okay? So, when we think about it, na parang when you are okay with yourself, if you are happy with your own company, if you feel okay and satisfied with who you are as a person, again, remember what I said earlier na parang you're not competing against this other guy or this other person. You are competing with how content and happy I am with myself. So thinking about it, when you go into this app, this is when you start thinking na, okay, what am I looking for in a potential nakausap? Because take note, kausap pa lang ito. Okay? Hindi ito, you don't go into this saying, hey, do you want to be my forever person? You don't do that. You're gonna scare the bejesus out of them. What you can do instead is like, think of it like meeting, like no, di ba nung kids tayo, nasa playground tayo, na, uy, what do you call this? Uy, gusto mo mag-swing tayo. Or, uy, gusto mo mag-seesaw tayo. So, what do you call this? Tingnan mo muna kung saan kayo kursunada, kung saan kayo jive. Alright? And then from there, you start seeing, okay, that's great. We actually both like dogs. We like to watch Korean novelas together. We like to do this, we like to do that. Sige, subukan natin na gumawa ng activity together. And then from there, you start deciding na what do you call this? Kasi ang date, it doesn't have to be romantic date agad. Hindi kailangan na gano'n. It can be just coffee. It can be just, uy, what do you call this? Parang, you want to check out this restaurant. Masarap ba to? You know? So the focus is not necessarily, you take the pressure of them showing up and more of, let's do a fun activity together. And then, as you do the fun activity, you get to meet them where they are. You get to see what kind of person they are. And then, if you want to get to spend more time with them, and vice versa, and you go, you spend more time with them. And that's how dates happen. And before you know it, you start getting more and more interested in what kind of people they are, and hopefully what kind of person they get interested in, what kind of person you are. So, and what's on your mind?
So, i-share lang ako about yung experience sa dating apps. Kasi, naisip ko lang na kaya, actually, lahat ng mga previous relationships ko are from dating apps. Tapos, ang ano lang kasi, napapansin ko kasi parang nag-backfire siya for me. Kasi, siguro yung nag-backfire is yung pagiging impatient ko. Kasi parang nakakasawang ulit-ulitin yung paulit-ulit na conversation with several people sa span ng napakaikling time. So parang pagka nangyayari na, kung namin may namit ako na, parang okay naman. Tapos mag-jump ako agad into a relationship. Kasi parang maalis na ako sa dating app kasi nakakapagod siyang gawin. And so siguro, ayun, nakaka-drain lang din kasi siya. So siguro yung question ko is kung may practical advice ba kung paano hindi maumay sa pag-date.
That's a very good question. Yes, Ronica, what's on your mind?
Being someone na nagti-Tinder since college talaga. Like, I never deleted the app kasi I went to an all-girls college. So, wala talagang lalaki. The only way to meet a guy is if may papakilala yung friend mo or if magbababad ka sa Tinder. And then, siguro sa akin, wala eh. It's inevitable. You meet people easily. Ganun kadali mag-hi, mag-hello. It's just, parang, I think, it's up to the first 5 minutes for you to judge kung worth it bang mag-introduce sa taong to. Let's admit it, hindi na natutupad yung parang 1 week or 1 month before you sleep together. It doesn't happen anymore. Minsan, first date you sleep together, second date you sleep together. Kasi, yun na po yung situation ngayon. So, pero, syempre, it's still a choice. It's still your choice. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Lalo na consent is still there, diba?
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are the 2 questions from us.
That's that, and they're very good questions. Okay, this is where my pagiging old school comes out, and I suddenly feel so old. What do you call this? Okay, admittedly, okay, it's and I think that this is where you guys have an advantage because you already intrinsically understand how dating apps work, what the culture is like. I think from my own perspective, what I can tell you is I don't have, okay, caveat emptor ha, I want to be upfront. I do not have any tricks to share with you na, oh, this is how you get more people to be into you, this is how you excite people within the first 5 seconds. I can't do that. I am sorry, I am not a marketing specialist. But I can definitely tell you that maybe one way that we can take the pressure off is, number 1, don't expect. Okay, leave any expectations, because as you've mentioned, this is very fast moving, and in a sense it's also kind of like it has the same principle as a YouTube commercial. If you cannot get their attention within the first 5 minutes, oh, I'm sorry. If you cannot get their attention within the first 5 seconds, wala na, you're out, you're done. Okay, so here's the thing. When we say that don't have any expectations, I mean to say na like I said earlier, you're not there right away na, oh, are you gonna be my life partner forever and ever? You just want to see if okay ka bang kausap? Patino ka bang kausap? Let's talk. And ano to? If let's say for example, you already know what you're looking for, na gusto mo ng maybe someone who is funny, someone who actually has something interesting to say, someone who actually has interest, who is a real person, even if that's just the baseline, that's fine. And then later on, pag nagdi-deepen na yung usapan ninyo, sige, that's when you start asking the interesting questions. Do you like cats or dogs? What is your favorite ice cream? Or what do you call this? Where or even for heaven or even where were you during the elections? So that might be something that might be definitely a deal breaker. But sincerely, again, going back, no expectations. I think one of the best ways too that you can show up and kind of quote unquote filter out or weed out the people that you don't want versus the people you want is to also be upfront about what kind of person you are. And I don't mean na okay, I have to tell you unang-una pa lang, what you call this, super demanding ako, super high maintenance ako, kailangan naka-chideng ka, etc., etc. Hindi po ganun. What we can do is we can show up as ourselves in a light, pleasant manner. Okay, like let's say for example, if you say that you're a funny person, see how you can make them laugh even kahit na napaka-corny ng joke. Basta benta, okay? And if let's say for example, hindi maganda yung response, di good, that means that they're not for you. And if tawang-tawa sila sa'yo, mga hahatawa ko mga 20, game, okay, mapapag-usapan natin yan. Okay? So, again, you check what the response is to you. Okay? Now, aside from that, I'm sorry, I forgot what the second question was. What is the second question nga pala?
Yung second question is like, parang ganun na rin, yung how to know if it's real. So, yung kay Miss Anne is paano ka hindi mauumay. And sa akin naman is, since it's fast-moving, parang kailangan talaga, you have to introduce yourself again and again. So, ano yung pwedeng gawin para ma-filter out nga agad? So, parang siguro yung kay Miss Anne muna is yung paano ka hindi mauumay sa pag-introduce sa sarili mo?
Actually, magandang tanong yan. Thank you for reminding me, Ronica. Okay, and with regards to paano ka hindi mauumay, remember that you're also showing up as yourself. And this is where it's ideal to pace yourself. There is no need to rush. There is no need to rush. You do not need to meet 100 people out there within the day. Okay? Take your time. If, let's say, for example, you sense na napapagod ka no, or naaasar ka na, stop. Because if you try to push and you try to meet people when you're already in a bad mood or when you feel exhausted or emotionally depleted, that's not gonna help how you show up for them. Okay, you want to show up as yourself. You want to show up na you're satisfied, you're happy with yourself. So if, let's say, for example, you want to show up and remember na, again, no expectations. You're just there for yourself. You want to see who else is out there, who else is ayos kausap, who else is fun to be with, you know? And if you start feeling, ay nako, nakakasawa na to, stop. Go, put your phone down, uminom ka ng tubig, kumain ka muna ng snacks, manood ka muna ng Netflix, do something else to take care of yourself. Okay? And then, maybe later on, once you start feeling na, ay, oo nga no, what if mag-Tinder ulit ako? Sige, subukan natin. Sige, go. You know? But again, you do not have to force yourself to do Tinder or to do anything actually at all na that makes you feel emotionally depleted agad. Okay? You can always pace yourself. Let's see. I hope that answers your question, Anne.
Oo. Siguro nakakatawa lang kasi yung ginawa ko, instead of stopping, nag-stop ako kasi ginawa ko na lang sila. Okay. Kasi parang ayoko na mag-Tinder. Sige na nga, joke siya na lang, okay naman siya. Yung parang ganun. Kaya siguro, kaya tama lang din talaga, nag-stop muna talaga ako ng dating for good kasi uulit lang yung ganong pattern. And siguro, additional question na lang din. Kasi, diba po kasi yung mga dating apps kasi parang superficial din kasi sila. Kasi, syempre, yung malaking factor yung looks. And so, siguro, mahirap din talaga to put yourself out there, lalo na if you don't feel like 100% confident with how you look. Pero kasi, I guess, ayun. So, kaya siguro yung iba is parang nagiging jaded na lang din sa pagdi-dating app kasi, ayun nga, baka may impression sila na para sa mga magaganda or sa mga pogi lang.
I do hear you, and I think that is still a valid observation. And at the same time, I also feel for you, Ronica, because as you've mentioned, parang yun lang yung as you've mentioned, yun lang yung outlet mo, or yun lang yung way mo to meet other singles in your area. And I do feel for you. Okay, it's just that I hope now you are in a better place where you can actually go out and meet other folks in other parts of your life, even if that means, if you're the religious type, you go to church, because there are always volunteer places where you can pitch in and help and meet other fun people. Or let's say, for example, maybe mahilig kang mag roller skating ngayon, and you go out to have fun with your friends at the roller disco and you meet someone interesting. Fantastic. Or if you like comics, there is always Comicette, which is fairly recently we had Pas Comicette with, if you're the type who is very creative and you like stickers, you like all this fun artsy stuff, you know, you will always end up meeting interesting people out there. So that's one way that you can also meet people outside of apps. So, admittedly, I'm kind of old school this way. Okay. But yeah, um, apps are not the only way that you can meet interesting people out there. Okay, what do you think though, Ronica? What's on your mind?
Actually, yan po yung parang lagi ko nakukuha ang advice na I wanted to try is quit the dating apps and go back to the community na parang interested ka. Kasi I used to cosplay before. I met a lot of friends there. I did church work. I met a lot of people sa church. So parang kahit isa lang, I think the one of the best or the easiest way to get out of the dating app scene is to spend your time and energy widening your connections by going to doing the things that you like. Kasi parang may automatic na yun na interest kay when you meet someone there na parang automatic may mapag-uusapan kayo. Iba lang yung approach in a way na you do need a lot more guts to talk to someone personally kesa yung sa app lang na say hi, hello. Kasi
and that's true. And I hear you, but I would love to hear what the last part of your sentence is, Ronica. I'm sorry for interrupting.
It's okay. Siguro mahirap lang siyang gawin. Kasi for someone nga din na very focused sa career, the easiest and most convenient thing for me to do to try to date is sa dating apps. Kasi lunch break, swipe, diba? Idle time, chat. That's the easiest day. If you're gonna go out, talagang mag-exert ka talaga ng time, ng energy. So it's like everything is naka-shortcut sa dating apps. And being there for years, like more than 6 years, yung ex ko dun ko rin na-meet. And meron talagang legit na love from that kasi yun nga, we were in a relationship talaga and he really changed me in a way na nag-mature ako after we broke up. Kahit 6 months lang kami.
That's still very significant.
Yes, the 6 months is yun yung naging turning point ko sa point of view ko sa relationships during college. And ayun, siguro I think kasi sa sobrang tagal ko nang nagde-dating apps, parang wala nang nothing surprises me anymore. I've tried going out and then nalaman ko may asawa pala, nalaman ko may jowa na pala. Marami talagang hindi totoo. So, may mga ang sa akin, when my friends ask me, bakit nagde-dating app ka pa rin? Ang tagal-tagal mo na dyan, wala ka namang jowa. Sa akin, parang at the end of the day, siguro sa bawat isang taon na nagde-dating app ako, may nakikilala kong isang solid na kaibigan.
Really, when you think about it, those kinds of friendships are much more satisfying than fly-by-night lovers. Okay? So, please cherish those friendships because I sincerely think the more healthy relationships you gather around yourself, in a sense, this is how you also practice what it's like to be in a love romantic relationship. Okay, for all you know, the more that you surround yourself with people who have the same values as you, doon mas lalakas yung attraction for a potential partner who shares your own values. So again, also going back to I think it still applies na pag sa dating apps tayo, always bear in mind yung boundaries mo, yung healthy boundaries mo. Bear in mind kung ano yung unique needs mo, what your deal breakers are, what your requirements are, what you can contribute to the relationship, and what they also need to bring to the table. Okay, so what's on your mind, Ronica?
Parang gusto ko po sa kanya yung sarili ko dun sa sinabi niyo. Kasi yung pinaka-recent guy nga na na-meet ko sa Tinder na sobrang gustong-gusto ko. Like, checks all the boxes. Ang problema lang talaga is nawawala siya bigla minsan. And for his explanation, it's that he's busy with work and minsan umuwi yung kapatid niya. Which is ako, I fully understand it kasi minsan nag-shutdown din ako because of work. Tipong 1 week, nobody can talk to me. Ang problema, yan nga yung boundaries ko na please just tell me na buhay ka pa. Parang ganun, kahit in a day or every 2 days, just call and say hi. Ang question ko siguro is, would it work if I give myself yung parang time limit na parang within this time frame, if he doesn't contact me, I'm out? Or is that unreasonable? Or it's immature?
I would say, Ronica, that's something that you and this guy should actually discuss. Okay?
Baka ma-pressure siya pag hiningi ko
kasi
yun.
dating kayo.
Yes, kasi
okay.
We're just seeing each other and he was very vocal na parang ang based on our conversations before, our intimate conversations, ang history niya is mas nai-inlove siya sa friends kesa sa mabilisang inlovean. And ako, baliktad. I fall in love easily. I mean, mabilis akong ma-fall, pero pagdating sa relationships, doon ako matagal. I mean, matagal akong mag-commit sa relationship kasi meron akong malawak na parang checklist when it comes to reliability. Pag nakita ko na hindi reliable yung tao, kahit mahal ko, I don't enter into a relationship with him. Siya naman, friends talaga, like, mas nai-inlove siya pag friend niya na. Sa kanya nagiging jowa. Ako naman, madali akong ma-fall, madali akong ma-inlove. I simp a lot. Yung talagang, I would make excuses for you sa sarili ko. Pero at the end of it, if hindi ko nakikita na reliable ka, hindi kita jojowain. So parang dun kami hindi nag-meet kasi magkaiba yung face namin. At the same time, it's not something that I can ask.
I hear you. You know, Ronica, this is making me curious. Okay, because what I'm observing, you and this guy both value commitment. Different kinds of commitment on different levels. Okay, and when I say different levels, or it's like for you, you value commitment in the sense that yes, you do give your loyalty right away, but you do it because nakikita mo na worth it siya. In the same way, in another way, this person that you're into, it's important for him, the commitment is important for him because matagal na niyang kilala yung isang tao. And therefore, he appreciates how committed, the level of commitment there is in that relationship. So maybe there is some point that the two of you can work on this together. Find that common ground. Find that common ground between the two of you. What do you call this? So maybe this is something that the two of you can discuss. Kapag, let's say, for example, nasa phase na kayo na medyo malalim-lalim na yung pag-uusapan ninyo. You know, I mean, if you want, make me an excuse. You know, alam mo, merong relationship coach na nagsabi sa akin ganito, ganyan. You know, so what do you think? So, and just get his thoughts on it, and then this is also one way that you can kind of gently segue into na. I guess that's why for me it's important na when we communicate ganito ganyan, does this work for you? Is this okay with you? It's like I'm not like I don't want to pressure you. It's just that I really appreciate it when I know that you're still alive because I care a lot. So ganun na lang, you know. And maybe this is something that the two of you can compromise on. As you mentioned, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. But this is something that the two of you can maybe work on together. Okay? So, try to discuss, I sincerely hope that the two of you can discuss or work out an arrangement that works for you and works for him. Because maybe, let's say, for example, if you haven't heard from him for a week, you know, you can maybe drop him a meme, drop him a cute cat,
GIF, or din yan.
You know, or what do you call this? Oh, this is just me checking in on you. Kamusta ka na? And if he doesn't respond, chill lang, okay, no biggie. Yeah. You know, and if let's say if he responds, oh thank goodness, I'm so glad you're okay. Ganun na lang. I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah.
If let's say for example he doesn't respond back, this is where we learn to trust in the goodness of other people. Okay? Now, give him time maybe he's just caught up in a really big issue, or maybe something big is happening in his family. I don't know. Maybe he needs to retract to build up that emotional bandwidth again. You know, what matters then is, I know that you guys are still dating, but this is where I also want you to gauge na, is he worth it? You're investing emotionally in him, you know, because you can go, hey, I know, and this is also something that we coaches learned with regarding reaching out to exes or whatever, and this is where you can probably go, hey, I understand you're probably going through something really rough and you probably need the space, and I'll be very and I just want you to know that I'm here for you. Okay? I respect your need for space and time, but I just want you to know that I'm here for you whenever you're ready, andito lang ako. You know. So this is one way that you can communicate na,
Yeah.
I know that you need time and space. I kind of miss you, but at the same time, your well-being is my priority. So I'm gonna go do my own thing first, because we cannot hold our breath over the phone for that. But this is also your way of establishing / communicating to this person. Na, hey, I care about you. I know you need time and space, and you know, I respect that. I just want you to know whenever you're ready, andito lang ako. And then you go do your own thing. So, I hope that helps, Ronica.
Yes po. Parang mas nag-gets ko yung parang passive na, in a way, hindi ka mangungulit, pero in a way, when he comes back, you're there. At the same time, you're not just waiting kasi, I mean, I'm not just waiting kasi I'm still doing my own thing.
Okay.
Pero parang parang ang simp.
I would not say simp, actually. Well, I am having difficulty with the word simp, honestly, because I'm not sure what it means. But from what I understand, sige, please explain to this tita what simp means.
Is parang parang whatever he do, tatanggapin mo, or it's okay, or na for example, anything na gawin niya, cute. Anything na he says, paginiwalaan mo, any excuse that he gives, you're gonna be okay with it.
Actually, that's my question to you again. It does not need to be simping from your explanation, kasi it doesn't necessarily mean again, and this is where I also want to mention that if, knock on wood, okay, things go south, pag hindi na maganda yung pakikipag-usapan, that's when you will need to change the way you communicate with him. Okay? This is where at some point you may have to go into, let's say for example, if he calls you up after na hindi siya nagpaparamdam for 3 months, hindi siya nagpapagalaw ng baso for 3 months, and he says, hey, it's been ages, kumusta ka na? As if walang nangyari. You know? And maybe this is where you go, mapuputol na ulit, oh my God. Okay. Super brief lang. This is where you go, yeah, you know, I'm okay, but the thing is, before he starts saying, do you want to go out sometime? Pero at this point, you kind of feel, I'm not sure if you're that invested in me, you know? You can say na, you know what, I just need to tell you this. I just need to communicate this with you because I need to be upfront with you that when I bring something to the table, it means a lot to me. And I need someone who can be on that level with me. I need someone who can be as committed to this, or at least who can meet me halfway here. And I kind of find myself wondering if you're that person.
He did apologize when he called after being gone for a long time. He did apologize. The first thing he said was, I'm sorry. Kaya,
I feel you.
Ayun, going with the topic, does honesty on dating apps matter? Kasi may mga na-encounter ako na...
Ronica, nagtaas ka ng kamay. What's on your mind?
Bilang eksperto sa dating app, bilang someone
I want to hear
na tumanda na sa dating app, natatanong ko din yun kasi nga, di ba, maraming beses na ako naloko sa dating app na may jowa pala, may asawa pala, yung pinakamalala. I think, as long as you're keeping it real sa sarili mo, one day you're gonna find someone na super kasing honest mo, kasing legit mo. Pero, hopeless romantic thoughts lang to kasi I still haven't found mine. Pero, that's what's keeping me on my ground na I'm still being honest na whenever someone asks me anything, even if the answer doesn't sound good, na parang, where do you live? Wala, I left my family there kasi ayoko na doon. Diba? Parang yung mga bagay na kahit ang pangit pakinggan, when someone asks me, magiging honest ako. Siguro, ang question lang dun is it worth yung vibe na maging honest ka dun sa taong yan? Or parang umpisa pa lang nag-aalangan ka na kasi they sound judgmental. Huwag mo na kausapin. If they sound judgmental, huwag ka na maging honest. Kaya, huwag mo nang kausapin. Don't waste your time. Kaya lang kasi, ang mahirap na pag honest ka, tapos ikaw yung niloloko.
Okay, hold on. Can I also add to that? About looking at the intentionality of the person, Veronica. Kasi you do get that from the start. Pag, let's say, for example, ginugoyo, alam mo nang ginugood time ka na, abay, what do you call this? There is no need. The way my partner says, there is no need to cast pearls before swine. Abay, kung binababoy ka na, kung baboy-baboyan lang ang usapan, don't give them the best of your best anymore. But that does not necessarily mean that you meet them at their level. You don't have to. You can withhold information. You can choose to withhold information. You can choose to be circumspect. Meaning na parang, what do you call this? Wag mo nang patulan or just say, thanks, but I kinda don't have time for this. Click. No more. Disengage na. And because you know that your time is valuable, and you know that you are not gonna take that kind of BS from someone. Okay? So this is also where you learn to be mindful about what you say, mindful about what you give. Kumbaga, I also read somewhere interesting na they have to earn truths about yourself. So as someone who is a seasoned Tinder person, okay, and I have very, very deep respect for you for that, because that is not easy. That's not an easy place to be. Bueno, kahit anong pilit mo, wag mo na pilitin, te.
On a lighter note, feeling ko yung tanong ni Sir Gab is like, on the surface, kasi nga, minsan, surface pa lang naglalay na eh. So parang, hirap naman i-determine kasi nga, di ba? If you're getting lied to, it's because they want you to believe them. So, on the surface naman kasi, yung especially when it comes to his question na may mga nasa dating apps talaga. I've heard this kasi from my guy friends na there are female profiles saying na female pero gay pala, or parang saan galing yun? So ang pangit naman kung diretso itatanong mo. It's disrespectful. On the same note, if it's on the other side of the spectrum, if you're not straight, tas tinanong ka if are you straight, 'di ba? Ganon din yun. Ganon din yung dating nun. It's still disrespectful. So,
granted, yes, that they may have had assumptions about you, but maybe we can meet it instead of meeting it head on with annoyance, maybe we can meet it with curiosity.
Yeah.
Like say for example, you can, if somebody says, "Hey, are you gay? Are you lesbian?" One way that we can answer that is, you know what, that's actually making me curious. What's behind that question?
Yes, good.
What asks for people who show up, who present themselves as, well, actually, you hit the nail on the head, Ronica. Sometimes there are people who are not comfortable with dating trans people, and we cannot exactly raise pitchforks and torches and say they're homophobic. It's just that maybe they're not ready for that, or that's their preference, and maybe they're missing out, maybe not. That's their own journey to take. So if, let's say for example, you meet someone who may not be 100, who may not have been 100% upfront on their profiles, maybe for now don't take it against them. they probably had a good reason to be that way, and we can meet them with curiosity. Now we can maybe at least have a conversation with them and ask, hey, you seem like I think you're really interesting to talk to, and I think that you're interesting as a person. I'm just curious because it seems like there are really important aspects about yourself na hindi tugma or hindi na, and there are things about your Tinder that don't quite jive. Can you make me understand? Can you help me understand? So, kumbaga, you're already inviting them to also help you understand where they are at. You are meeting them at where they are at. So, and if, let's say, for example, they explain to you na, kasi natatakot ako, baka makita ako ng parents ko, etc., etc., you gain a deeper understanding of them as a human being. And from there, you get to decide whether or not this is something you want to pursue romantically or not. For all we know, you end up getting another friend. I don't know, folks. Is this helpful? Is what I said helpful ba?
Parang naisip ko lang din, if they are not ready to express who they are on the app, maybe we just get to know them more once na magkaroon ng in-person interaction.
Yeah.
Yun yung naiisip ko rin.
Tsaka magandang yung sinabi mo, Gab, kasi for all we know, may dahilan kung bakit hindi pa sila ready to present themselves 100% in the way they need to, that's actually one question, that one lesson I learned the hard way, and that's one thing that I think is that we extol during Pride Week. Now, if you're not ready to come out, it's okay. If you're not ready to be there 100%, it's okay. That doesn't mean that I am any less of an ally to you. That doesn't mean that just because you cannot be there for me romantically or sexually does not mean that that you lose my respect or trust. I just want to meet you at where you are at right now. And there will always be other chances to meet someone who clicks with you.
Yeah. Parang nga dyan, 8 billion na nga tayo. Imposible makakatawa. Diba?
Ayun.
And ito na. Doon na tayo sa last part ng natin. Ano yung advice na pwede po ninyong maibigay to all single na kahit Pasko na hindi ka nag-iisa, hindi mo kailangan maghanap kahit na alam mo na there were many people na magka-holding hands just sa labas, in the parks, in the malls, everywhere. Parang ano yung pwede nating maibigay na piece of advice na oy, hindi ka nag-iisa. Enjoy mo lang yung pagiging single mo. Something like that.
Yep, that's actually the $1 million question. Okay? I think we can do a number of things. Number one, do not compare yourself with other people. I know this is very difficult to do, so I will reframe it instead. So instead of focusing on not comparing yourself to other people, look inside and ask, what am I doing to cultivate a healthy relationship with myself? Ano ang paano ko na-appreciate yung sarili ko? Paano ko naaalagaan yung sarili ko? Ano yung mga strengths ko ano yung mga strengths and achievements ko na nalilimutan ko na important pala sa akin? And this is where you take the time and take stock in what matters to you as a person. This is how you also take care of yourself, not just physically but emotionally and psychologically. Another way that you can also na pwede mo ring gawin is outreach. Parang ginagawa mo, Ronica, na look for things that matter to you. Na look for things that you believe in. Do you believe in maybe importante sa iyo na mag-outreach doon sa feeding program, or siguro may importante sa iyo na tutulong ka sa animal shelter, sa POS, Sometimes even, go out and look for things that interest you. Tulad nga ng sinabi mo, Ronica, na go out sa mga hobbies mo. Actually, mas swerte na tayo ngayon kasi ang dami-dami nating hobby groups out there. So, try to explore that space. Even if it's on, also one more thing, one exercise that I sometimes recommend sa mga clients ko is take the time, if this works for you, take the time to write yourself a love letter. Na maybe, let's say for example, pwede siya for New Year's, pwede rin siya for Christmas. And you take the time to write to yourself na, let's say for example, Dear Jonette, hi, kamusta ka na? It's been 1 year. Ano ba yung mga achievements mo? And then try to talk to this person you're writing to. Try to talk to yourself in the letter like you're their best friend. And you can go, you know what? Proud na proud ako sa'yo kasi natapos mo yung exam na to. Ang galing, you studied so hard for this. I'm so glad that we went hiking with our friends. I'm so proud of you because you were so brave to break up with that unhealthy relationship and so on and so forth. And you can also go, I'm sorry, I should have been there for you. I'm sorry that I learned to speak bad things about our body, you know. I'm sorry that I could have been someone who was more patient with you while you were still learning to heal from that bad breakup, you know. And here I for the next time around, for maybe for 2023 or for the I promise to focus on working on this part of my life, so that when we get to talk again, hopefully I want you to feel that I value our relationship and that I love you very, very much. So that can be one way that we can meet ourselves halfway. So we also acknowledge na we're going through a lot, and being human is not easy in this time and age. And yeah, it essentially boils down to focus on your relationship with yourself, cultivate gratitude, what you call this, try to focus on spreading love where you can. Yon. And it's okay to accept your feelings, feel your feelings, kasi mahirap na i-deny natin yung feelings natin, na it's okay to feel sad. It is absolutely normal and human. It's all part of who we are right now. And at the same time, gently recognize the different places where you receive love. I hope that helps, Gab. I hope that helps.
Ayun. And any final words from you, Ma'am Jonette, as well as with our guests for tonight?
Yeah, please. I would very much love to hear what Anne and Ronica have to say.
Gusto ko lang magsabi ng sobrang nag-resonate yung advice mo, kasi this Christmas and New Year mag-isa ako sa country, and so kasi hindi ako uuwi ng Pilipinas, but then sobrang validating lang for me kasi actually parang lahat ng sinabi mo except yung diary I've actually been doing, kasi yung 1 year na hindi ako nag-date, I really spent it like getting to know my family better, kasi and also my closest friends, kasi 'di ba minsan kapag ka in a relationship ka, sa jowa mo nabubuhos yung time and energy and yung to talk to that person, 'di ba? Pero kasi kapag ka single ka, mas may energy kang makipag-usap sa mas maraming tao, and yun, and I can say na mas nag-improve talaga yung relationship ko with my family and friends. And ayun, ginagawa ko din, sobrang helpful din talaga mag-journal. And noong una kasi ay di ako naniniwala sa kanya kasi ang awkward magsulat, but then now I actually do it regularly. Tapos sobrang iba yung feeling kapag napuput mo into paper yung thoughts mo, kasi parang cathartic siya. And and so ayun, tapos siguro yung isa ko pang ginagawa is instead na yung diary, pero I think ang gawin ko din instead yung love letter to myself, yung ginagawa ko is yung mirror work. So yung parang pupunta ako sa mirror and then like magsasabi ako ng mga validating things about myself. And so I mean, ridiculous siya kapag mabibinig ng ibang tao, but then nung una kasi sobrang awkward niya, kasi parang ano ba yan, anong sinasabi ko sa salamin, but then sobrang kapag as in maniniwala ka din kasi talaga, and then eventually na parang, so ngayon actually parang feeling ko sobrang hindi ko sure kung, siguro na-excite ako for my next relationship kasi alam ko na it will be out of
gusto ko na kasi, I mean like yung parang hindi kasi may pinupunan siyang need kasi I can 100% say na sobrang I'm in a place wherein wala siyang kulang na pupunan, parang gano'n. Na parang sabi nga ni Kim Chu, para na lang siyang icing sa ibabaw ng cupcake ko.
Exactly. Good for you.
Yeah, so
good for you.
Ayun. So yun, and hopefully yung I mean, hindi ko naman siya sinasabi na in a preach way na sana kayo din gano'n. Hindi, but like, sobrang work kasi talaga yung self-improvement. And sabi nyo nga kanina, yung pagka-single ka, you have all the time. And I also want to acknowledge na sobrang nasa place of privilege ako kasi I can have time to really do this and to really take time for myself kasi yun nga. And I acknowledge na not everyone can be in the same position. But then, ayun. So, if you have time and if you can, I really highly recommend na parang taking time and getting to know yourself para
Beautiful.
kapag ka next relationship, hindi na out of desperation or out of need, parang gano'n.
Yeah. You meet them na out of love. You know, it's like I am already full as a person, and hopefully you're also full. And when we combine what we have something greater than ourselves. I think that's absolutely beautiful. Good for you, Anne. I'm so glad that you're also doing mirror work. Kasi mas lalo na sometimes we need to hear it ourselves. Like if we feel that no one is gonna say this for us, we need to say it for ourselves. Sometimes we need to hear it for it to feel real. Kahit na, like, say, for example, oh my God, hindi ko alam kung ano yung, I don't know what is lovable about myself, but maganda yung kilay ko, I guess. I mean, even just that, you start with that. You start with, maganda yung kilay ko. And then afterwards, I think my friends love me. Yeah, and you start from there. I'm so glad you're doing that, and good for you.
Yeah, oo. Tsaka kasi parang feeling ko nung una, actually, nung simula din, nung inumpisahan ko siya, doon ko lang din na-figure out na I talk badly about myself pala. Like, internally. Nung sinabi ko siya out loud, parang nagugulat ako na parang grabe, ganito pala yung tingin ko sa sarili ko. Na tipong, kasi Leo ako So, dapat, but then, joke lang. But then, yung, akala ko kasi nung una na tipong sobrang proud ko of myself and what I've accomplished. But then, nung dive deep ako na parang grabe, parang hindi pala ako ganun kabait sa sarili ko. And anyway, so kaya mahirap gawin yung mirror work sa akin nung una. But then yun, eventually parang awkward pa din, but then sobrang rewarding.
I'm so glad to hear that. How about you, Ronica? What's for you, what's on your mind and what do you feel are your takeaways from yung session natin today?
Actually, kanina, I was supposed to ask si Miss Anne kasi ako ngayon, since I moved out, I wanted to celebrate yung year-end ko sana mag-isa. Kasi I grew up in a really close family. And right before moving out, ang daming changes na nangyari. So, parang I thought to myself minsan na parang, di ba when you're growing up, parang kung ano yung pinakilala ka, how your family introduced you sa sarili mo, yun yung pagkakakilala mo. You don't really grow out of it unless you move out of it. Parang nasa circle ka. How they define you is who you are. Unless you take that leap na you become someone na kahit na wala sa expectation nila, but still, you're loving that part of you na discover mo because you realize this is me outside of my comfort zone.
You are actually giving yourself the space to rediscover yourself.
Yes, yung parang beyond what you grew up in. Yun ka. And ako, since I just moved out netong latter year na to, sabi ko sa sarili ko, I wanted to celebrate my birthday, my Christmas, my New Year alone. And parang I was gonna ask sana si Miss Anne if she was gonna celebrate alone sa ibang bansa. Kasi, I don't know if, diba, parang minsan, being alone is really a choice. And it's one of the choices na hindi mo palaging magagawa. Kasi, at the end of the day, maraming nagmamahal sa'yo. Minsan may mga tao na ayaw kang hayaan mag-isa, na parang you don't have to be alone. You can go here for Christmas. Please go here for Christmas. Minsan hindi. Parang may mga chances na ganito na minsan mo lang makukuha. Minsan you have to take it. Kasi hindi mo na to ulit ma-experience na yung mga ganitong time of the year na nasanay ka na may kasama mo yung family mo. For the first time, ma-experience mo mag-isa.
Yeah. That is still a very valid choice, Ronica, honestly. And, if you have the wherewithal, if you have the space to do that, yeah, go for it. And just because you do it doesn't necessarily, and I think you know this already, na just because you want to spend your birthdays, your holidays alone, doesn't mean na hindi mo mahal yung family mo.
Yeah.
It just means that you want to spend time to get to know yourself better. So that maybe in the future, if you decide to go back and spend the holidays with them, meron ka pang mas share na bago sa kanila.
Yes.
So, and of course, always, primarily, this is for you. You are doing, whatever you are doing is for yourself. So that's a good thing.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Anne. I think you have something that you want to share.
Siguro in response lang to what Ronica is asking. Pero siguro, gusto ko lang din i-share yung about yung salim. Kasi nabanggit mo yung you see yourself, like how your family sees you. And I think maybe kailangan, sobrang helpful for me nung nalaman ko yung term na limiting beliefs. Kasi yung limiting beliefs is yung parang how do you define yourself. And then, minsan kasi if you think of yourself as kasi ako stubborn ako eh. And then you actually parang subconsciously do things na kaya ka nagiging stubborn talaga. Unlike kapag ka-challenge mo yung limiting beliefs mo and then kasi gusto mo siyang baguhin, then pwede kang maggumawa ng parang mga specific action points or behavior na para hindi ka na maging stubborn, di ba? Kasi yung mga hindi stubborn na people ay hindi ganun mag-act. But ayun. But anyway, yung sa actually okay na din yung sinabi mo kasi gusto ko din lang din sabihin na oo, mag-suspend ako ng Christmas and New Year here mag-isa. But then ni-reframe ko kasi siya na kasi ito lang din naman yung parang time na magiging mag-isa ako for Christmas and New Year. And I hope na marami pa akong years na I can spend Christmas and New Year with my family. And so parang ang iniisip ko is instead of mag-isa malungkot ganyan, I mean, I can do something new for Christmas, diba? So, ngayong Christmas, I can get to spend it with the friends that I've made here, diba? And then for New Year then, I can spend it with the people that I, parang yung chosen family ko here. Parang ganon. And so, parang ganon ko siya finiframe para hindi siya malungkot. Kasi parang it's something new and it's something na alam ko na hindi ko mauulit.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And thank you. That was fantastic. And thank you for sharing that. So, yeah. Actually, Gab, ikaw, what do you because you're our pivotal person here, okay? What would you say would be your biggest takeaways from our episode today?
Siguro ang mapupulot ko dito sa episode na to is more of yung about sa love language. Maybe para sa akin kailangan o siguro as a single person, kailangan ko rin alamin sa sarili ko kung ano dapat, kung ano yung love language ko, kung ano yung kaya kong express sa taong mahal ko. Para at least once na I will enter into a relationship, at least I know, yeah, this is my love language. Breaking the generational trauma na kaya naman pala natin.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Kaya natin na baliin kung ano man yung traumas na meron na experience yung mga mas nakakatanda sa atin na ito ay mali pa. Na yung pagmamahalan na receive nila before, hindi pala yun yung tama. Ito pala yung tama. And sa part natin, doon natin sisimulan na yung mga good things for love will benefit everyone. That is the time na kailangan din na ipagpatuloy in the next generations to come. Nakikita ko rin na if we are looking for the one, siguro kailangan din talaga natin na most of the time as being single, kailangan din natin talagang i-assess yung sarili natin from top to bottom. Kasi tayo lang din naman ang makakakilala sa sarili natin. Kung halimbawa there are flaws na meron tayo, kailangan din natin siyang i-work out na to correct it. Kasi we want to make things for the better, not only for ourselves, but also to the ones that we love.
Yeah. I think that's really beautiful, Gab. And you take the time to be gentle to yourself, to be kind to yourself. This is why may concept tayo ng self-parenting. So, kumbaga, kung ano yung now that we're grown up, kung ano yung pagkukulang ng parents natin, siguro kasi we can forgive that na kasi hindi nila alam eh. Hindi nila alam na kailangan pala natin ng ganito. And now that we are grown up people, now we're grown, we can be parents. We can parent the inner child na naghahanap ng ganitong klaseng kalinga, na naghahanap ng ganitong klaseng pagmamahal. Okay. Actually, that might be something. Actually, ang dami natin na-cover na topic today, folks. Baka we might need other episodes. But again, Gab, thank you so much for making space for us. This would not have happened kung hindi dahil sa'yo.
Thank you din po sa inyo, ma'am. And thank you for being a blessing to us dahil nakilala din namin kayo. And with that,
pleasure.
I'd like to thank everyone here, from Miss Jonette, our relationship coach, our guest for today, and as well as yung mga guest nating singles, si Miss Anne and Miss Ronica. Thank you for making this episode a very successful one.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you
And
for
nice to
having
meet
us.
everyone.
You can find me on excuse me, well, you what do you call this, I still do coaching work on the Relationship Hero, but I also have my own private practice. I am Calidum _Lumen _coaching on Instagram and Facebook. And what do you call this, just hit me up anytime, send me a message, usap tayo. Okay,
Dito na nagtatapos yung episode natin, and my name is Gabo Villegas, and this is our Kwentuhan. You may listen on demand on Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Player FM, and also on Anchor.